Hey everybody, I just wanted to thank everyone for all the awesome comments and everything that's been said, and it means a lot to me. Today I wanted to make a video on bathing, just kind of how I go about these detox baths and what I use, how simple it is, and maybe just shine a little light on some things that have worked for me on my healing journey. That being said, it's a full moon, and on a full moon things get a little crazy with this disease. I can't say why because they don't know what causes it. So I will say though, every full moon my body decides to, I don't know, for lack of a better word, I would say shed. Anywhere that I have Morgellons still will swell up and excrete something. And it's unpleasant, it's uncomfortable, it's hard to go out in public. I have a few marks here, you can see, my forehead. So yeah, it's a really good time during the full moon to detox, to take any kind of heavy metal detox supplements, to do a cleanse, to take baths, or just do anything you can to kind of ground and recognize that maybe you might stay in. It's not a time you want to really be out in public, because for me it just gets stressful, trying to be overwhelmed and going out and doing anything. So I just wanted to show everybody how I do this. So hang on one sec. Okay, I'm gonna take you guys over here. So blessed, and I get to be here where we have this beautiful outdoor tub, which is really nice on the porch. And one thing I try to do always to make sure is that before my bath I have everything I need to be prepared. So making sure that you have, your clothes and, anything that you need, your house shoes and everything, so you don't have to get out of the bath and feel stressed out. Because most importantly in this, I think one of the most important things, there we go, it's a good angle. Okay. One of the most important things is making sure that you stay calm, because if anybody knows with Morgellons, is that taking a bath or a shower can be traumatic and take hours. It's so overwhelming what happens with your body. So this to me has been a godsend, just knowing how to navigate these things. So what I do is I run my bath, and then I use several different things. So when you want to take a bath with Morgellons, you want to make sure that you use something like Epsom salts, or any kind of bath bombs, or you can do baking soda. You want to make sure that the water is, you change the alkalinity, and that it's also it pulls from your body. Epsom salts, particularly magnesium sulfate, definitely pulls impurities out of your body, as well as gives you magnesium, which we all need anyways. Plus it's good for your muscles. And then I use something in the water to also kill the Morgellons as it pulls out. So what you need is something like, some people do bleach, some people do peroxide, some people do, all kinds of things. I personally like borax. And so I'll do, so over here, okay, so what I'll do is, and you can do any kind of Epsom salt. Like I have this one right here. This is like a eucalyptus and spearmint, dollar store, easy peasy. And then, or you can just do the plain Epsom salts. So I'll start with that, and I'll add probably about like anyway, about 2 cups into a bath. Let's see if you can see here. Okay. So I just pour, but if you want to get a pen and paper and write this down, it's really beneficial to know. But I'd say about 2 cups of Epsom salt. Then I take the borax, and again, what the borax does is it's going to kill anything that comes out of your body so that it doesn't go back in, because you're sitting in the water, which, you know, as we all know, if something comes out and it touches your body again, it will go right back in. And these things don't die in the water. So the borax seems to work really well. At least I think it does. And I mean, you want to test your sensitivity, because if you're really sensitive to things like this, I would say you start with just adding about a cup. Again, I free pour, but I know that a cup and a half is probably a good ratio on that. So, so this borax, you can get it anywhere. Sell it at, you know, anywhere that sells laundry detergent usually has this, you know, on their shelf. It's also, you know, I do this thing called dusting, which I'll explain in another video, and I often use borax for that as well. Okay, so about a cup and a half. Okay, so now you have something in the water that's going to pull everything out. Then you have another ingredient that is going to, when it comes out, is going to neutralize that, so it doesn't go back into your body. Now the third thing is what I added, and this isn't necessary, but I think it's cheap and it's worth it, because vinegar naturally, you know, it's just really good for, you know, balancing out fungus. And the one thing I've noticed with cleaning, when you clean your house, I have to do 2 steps. I always, or I use my spray bottle that I put about half vinegar, half water, and Dawn dish soap. And particularly Dawn, because it kills 99% of bacteria, and it's something with the bacteria and then also the vinegar. So the vinegar will neutralize any kind of yeast or mold, at least for the most part, and and then the bleach or the Dawn will kill it. And so you don't want to put bleach on like a mold, because it will perpetuate. Some molds actually thrive in that. So what I do when I'm cleaning is I'll either use my spray that I shake up. Sometimes I'll add lemon juice or, you know, a lemon essential oil to that cleaner as well, or a citrus. But in the bath, it's kind of a similar thing. You want to make sure that you're getting, you know, the borax killing, you know, the germs. You have the magnesium sulfate, the Epsom salts to pull this impurities out, and then you'll have the vinegar, which will then also neutralize a lot of other molds and different types of funguses that can be on your body. And it also helps the pH, you know, balance the pH in your body. So you can use apple cider vinegar. Right now I have white vinegar, so use that. Probably do about, like, I don't know, a cup or so of that as well. So it's about, you know, 1 cup of borax, 1 cup of vinegar, 2 cups of Epsom salts. That's the first part of the bath. Next, I like to add essential oils. So it depends on what you are into and what kind of things that you like. But most importantly, it's kind of, you want to make sure that you do something that it won't be too harsh on your skin, and that, you know, that makes you feel good. So if you don't like essential oil, or it's too much, just, you can leave this part out. I add it because personally I enjoy it, and all the oils have different, you know, medicinal properties. You know, you have tea tree, which is always a good one. Just be careful. Cinnamon, clove. I personally like spruce. Spruce oil is a natural antifungal. It's antimicrobial. It's a really kind of a calm oil, and it's really good. So I'll use a little bit of spruce. So I'll put probably, I don't know, make 3, maybe anywhere from, I don't know, 3 to 10 drops, depending on what you like. And then you can also use frankincense. It's another good one. Frankincense is good for your skin. It's good for your body. It can be ingested even, so it's not one that you really have to worry about. It's just really it's anti-cancerous. It's all kinds of stuff. By the way, I have to disclose this. I'm not a doctor. and I'm not a medical professional. So anything that I say here is based on my own studies and experience, and I can't give you any medical advice. So all of this is just telling you what I do and how it's worked for me. So take that however you choose. Yeah, and then what I'll do is I'll then add probably a little bit of clove, because I also really like clove. Clove is really good for parasites. It's antifungal. But you have to be careful when you deal with anything with clove and cinnamon. You have to be careful because it will burn your skin, especially if it's not diluted properly, or your eyes. Okay, so now my bath water should be ready. And I want to share with you some things in the bath that have worked for me and how I do this, because this is the important part. At least I think so. Okay. You guys, this is probably one of the most important things you'll hear in this video, and I don't know why it exactly. I haven't done the studies to find out what it is in this soap that makes a difference, but I will tell you right now that goat's milk soap has something in it that changes, that biofilm doesn't like it. So when you use the goat's milk soap, it almost like butter off of your skin. You get this layer that sheds almost immediately, and I highly recommend it. You can buy it I actually usually go to Ross or Marshall's, and I'll find it there. I'm sure you can order on Amazon. It's not expensive. I mean, I went yesterday to Marshall's, and they had this goat's milk soap, and it was $5.99 for 2 bars. Not bad. And then this one, same thing, $5.99, 2 bars goat's milk soap. I'm telling you, it's a game changer. Just taking a bath or shower with that, and that alone will help you be so much more comfortable. Okay, so goat's milk soap. So borax, vinegar, and Epsom salts, and goat's milk soap. So even just to remind you, this cost is very, very low. You can go to the dollar store and get Epsom salts. You can go to the dollar store to get vinegar. You can, the borax is a little bit more at a laundry supply store, but you could always use a tiny bit of bleach or peroxide or whatever it is that you find that will, basically sanitize the water that you can still sit in. And then goat's milk soap, which again, you can find a bar for $3.99. So we're still in a very low range of cost, and that's really important. And I know that because I haven't always had money to do these things, and I've struggled and went without and not know what to do. And I've tried every kind of shampoo and face wash. And when I lost my hair, and I was struggling with stuff all over my body that I felt like, something would explode in the shower and just crawl all over me and get in my eyes, and I couldn't get rid of it. And then when I would dry off, it would be all over my body. It was just really intense and overwhelming. So these things have really helped me. And the goat's milk soap specifically, when you use it right away in the shower or the bath, it takes off a layer that can take sometimes, I think, hours of soaking to get off. So goat's milk soap is key to me. Although if you don't have access to goat's milk soap, there's a couple other options that I like as well. So this one here, this is a black African soap. So any kind of African soap, doesn't have to be this brand, but the black African soap also is extremely helpful. It is extremely helpful. The only thing about this is if you use it in the bath, I would suggest using it towards the end of the bath. And I will share with you how I do this in the bath, my process. But it will you will see it's almost like you have curds in a way, in the bath. When this stuff starts to come off your body, it does create a separation in the bath, and you can see how much of this is in the water. And then if you can't find African soap and you can't find goat's milk soap, most places, I mean, even the dollar store, they have this. activated charcoal. So find an activated charcoal soap. Activated charcoal is a binder. It's just so good for you. You can take it internally, especially during like the full moon when you need to detox. You can use it to wash your face. You can use it to wash your body. It will definitely help. It will not do the same things as the goat smoke soap, and oftentimes you really need to saturate your body with water in order for the activated charcoal to fully get through the biofilm. But it works, and it does work to get those layers off that you need in order to be able to like actually feel clean and to fight this. So yeah, so we have the goat smoke soap or activated charcoal or the African black soap. Any of those will work. I just want to mention that I also use this, and I don't always use it, but I've found that using bentonite clay or bentonite montmorillonite clay, food grade, you can get on Amazon, $12 a bag. Maybe it's like 30 for the big bag. If you're gonna do that and you have the loose powder, you can also put that in your bath. You can put a cup in your bath, or if you don't want to put it in your bath, you can also ingest it. You can also use it as a mask, put it all over your face or anywhere you have lesions. Clay has been known to extract any kind of bacteria or infection. So when you have something that might even be infected with like MRSA or something you don't recognize and it's bothering you, you can put the clay with water and then you put it on, like kind of pack it on, and it works really, really well. To draw things out, kind of like you put it on like a mask, right? On your wounds or wherever it is that it's bothering you. It's extremely helpful and very beneficial, at least for me. The one thing I did find is that a Tractor Supply, or at the country feed store where I was living in Washington, they did sell this, and it's in the department for the horses. But it's called this. And what this is a wound care clay. And the ingredients, which by the way, I read everything before I buy that at the store, because I've really gotten to know that less the ingredients, the better. There are certain things, that are good, like EDTA is okay to have, hypochloric acid, sodium chloride, but you don't really want all of these other, you can't pronounce, don't know what they are, chemicals in your bath or in your soaps. It actually can perpetuate it and make it actually worse. But this particular clay has, I'll show you the inside. So it's already moist. See? So you don't have to do any work. You don't have to mix the powder. It doesn't make a mess. You can literally take it, put it on, wherever it is that's bothering you, and then, you rinse it off inside the bath. You don't have to let it dry. Clay actually works when wet. So it, and once it dries, it actually does not work the same. So it's no longer healing it, but it is drying it out. And with Morgellons, you definitely want to dry Morgellons out. But you do need to shower. You do need to bathe. And so there's a gray area there where oftentimes we will take a bath or shower and we'll feel worse afterwards because now the moisture is stronger in our body and it attaches to, I could tell you my theories, but I know it's in the liquids in our body. It's in the water, it's in the blood, it's in the saliva and the mucus, and that's how it spreads, and that's also where it kind of lives, so knowing that factor, I think that like if we can dry it out, it turns kind of like a flaky, crusty layer that it's easier to remove, or easier to get out of your body. The drier it is, the easier it seems to be. Although, we're made up of water, and it's like jelly, right? So it's really hard to remove all of this or ever get rid of this slime that lives in your blood and your water, because that's what we're made of, essentially. So you can't really drain yourself of those things, and you have to but knowing that, being aware of that, you definitely don't want things to get so dry that they're hurting and cracking and causing more damage to your skin. But you want to make sure that enough times a day you're taking steps to make sure that you're drying things out. Like you don't want things to stay moist, but Morgellons does cover itself up. It has a protective layer. It uses the blood and it uses the skin to cover itself and hide itself, and so it can stay moist. So once you understand that, oftentimes when you have these lesions, it's actually better to keep them open and to continue to not let them scab over, because as soon as you let them scab over, it keeps the moisture inside. They look like a purple wound or like a scar when they're actually very live, and they're that's where they are like little centers, to kind of breed inside of you. As weird as it sounds, I know it's like a sci-fi movie, but it's what it is. Okay, so I guess those are the things that I do, tips and tricks for sure. Now let me explain a couple more things. So what I do is I'm like I said, I feel really blessed. Wasn't always like this. I didn't have I only had a shower to use other than my kids' bathtub, which everybody hated that I used any of it, and no one wanted me in the bathroom, and nobody wanted me there for the hours that I was there, and everybody was upset with me for needing to use it, and I would feel stressed and overwhelmed, and already with this disease, but like, also feeling like your family or the people in your life disapprove of the bathroom time is hard. So that's been a big issue for me. Um, so I'm really grateful. My friend here has built me a tub and just outside, so I would have the space I needed and not feeling like I was in the way. And I'm really, really grateful for that. So if you're someone who's struggling with that, I understand. And things you can do if you have a shower is you can make a vinegar spray for your body. So you would go maybe like half vinegar, half water, and then you maybe would add like salt to that perhaps, or like a nice essential oil, and you can spray that on your body before the shower or during the shower. You can kind of let yourself dry off and then spray it. Still, the soaps will help tremendously. I liked in the shower, I actually went to the dollar store and I bought a squeegee. And like, the ones that you like wipe the windows with, because what would happen is I'd be standing in the water and it would feel like the biofilm would just go reabsorb into my feet. And so having the squeegee in the bath was nice because everything that came out of my body, I could make sure I squeegeed right away down the drain, and it would keep the ground from getting too covered with the biofilm that you're standing in. Because in a bath, you can change the structure of the water and balance the pH of it, and so you can, the biofilm can't live in there or get back into your body. Whereas, like in a shower, it's just at your feet. Um, and so is everything else, all the things coming out of you. So squeegee was game changer for the shower as well. Um, you know, Things like putting on music is helpful, something nice and calm and relaxing. And then committing yourself to maybe having to take time and telling the people around you, like, hey, I'm going to have to do this for however long. And part of this whole thing has been difficult for me to admit, like, you know, and say, like, hey, I actually can't do that. I need to do this self-care. I can't be there because I have this going on and I need to do this so that I can feel comfortable in my own body, and still don't feel comfortable, but at least I can function, because the constant feeling that you have something inside and on your skin is already hard enough. So anything you can do to alleviate those things is so important. Um, so what I do, oftentimes if I'm able and I have a bathtub, is I will do a couple rounds of baths. So I'll start with this first one with the borax, the vinegar, and the Epsom salt and the essential oils. I'll get in and I'll soak for, I don't know, like 20, 30 minutes, sometimes longer. And then I will use towards the end of the bath, after I've soaked, as long as I feel comfortable, or shaved, as well. So that's another big one, shaving. So they live in the hairs, or they are part on the hairs, or the slime, or whatever it is attached to the follicles, oftentimes, or the hairs. So I found that that shaving your whole body, if you can, is super beneficial. Also, I started a protocol with Megan's Miracle, doing this shaving behind my ears, and that has really progressed things as well. So that is another key thing that I can touch on in another video, explaining how the shaving works and behind your ears and your neck, and what kind of shaver to use. But yeah, so it's really helpful to kind of like shave your body, head to toe if you can, at least once a week, or as often as you're able. It's really helpful to not have all that extra hair for it to attach to. So that being said, oftentimes if I am going to take the first round of my bath, I will shave in that first round. And shave in the tub, and then using, the goat milk soap or the African soap, and then as soon as I'm done, shaving, I will drain the water out and kind of sit in there, drain the water out. If you have a shower head, you can kind of rinse out the tub and then refill. And I do this right away. And I refill the tub as I sit in it. I re-add the borax, the vinegar, and the Epsom salt. And again, not necessary to add that much if you are on a budget, but it's really, Epsom salts are not expensive. These things are not expensive. And so it's, a total, even if you run 3 baths, it's still gonna, it's still like under, you can keep it under $10, $15 a bath a day. And I know that seems like a lot, but you can even probably take it down further, I would say. I mean, once you get all the supplies, that should last you. So if you get a bag of Epsom salt, borax, the vinegar, and then the soap, you should be good for like a week, So that's $10, $15 a week. Sorry, not a day, not a bath. But okay, so what I would do is, get in there and then I use the soaps. If I have the clay, I will do the clay mask the first time as well. And then, and then if you have hair still, which I did and I didn't succeed in keeping it, there are several things you can do for that as well. Highly suggest keeping your hair up as much as often with something like a coconut oil at the base. These things will attach themselves and wrap themselves around your hair, but they can't when your hair is really oily, and they can't when you have something on it that they don't like. And I can't say for sure if it's a bacteria or mold or both, but I will say that, the things that worked, the best were like tea tree oil, and like a leave-in conditioner or a coconut oil, for example. Or castor oil is too sticky, and I don't know. It never really worked very well for me. I would also try, the tea tree oil is good. I like the cinnamon, but you have to be, again, very cautious on how you use cinnamon and clove. It can burn. Same with the tea tree. So you have to just maybe, put it in your conditioner and shampoo. You can do that anyways, and it will be really helpful to keep things, repelling things from being on your hair. Although once your hair's dry, that can be an issue. The other thing I will say is get a blow dryer. Blow dryers are really helpful. When you get out of the shower or the bath, using a blow dryer on your hair or any parts of your body that feel moist, that you can't seem, that still just feels kind of sticky, those are the areas that you would just blow dry. Blow dry your body, blow dry your hair. Try to get your body as dry as you can after the bath or the shower. Make sure that you have a clean towel, and check the fabric of the towel, because sometimes certain fabrics and certain towels would actually leave this layer on me that were from the fabric. So, anything from Temu or from China that's really cheap. Oftentimes these fabrics or Walmart, they are just kind of synthetic, and this stuff kind of is attracted to it, and your body's sort of sticky. So keep that in mind. There were times when it was really bad that I would actually, have bought paper towels, and I've dried off with paper towels because it does like paper, and it does absorb into toilet paper and paper towels very well. So oftentimes if you get out of the shower and you're finding yourself struggling with like the hypersensitivity and all of that, and feeling like things are poking, or your hairs are even bothering you, drying off with a paper towel immediately after the shower, and just absorbing all the moisture you can be really helpful. As soon as you get your body dry of that moisture, it seems as though the things in your environment don't stick as easily, and they don't seem to hurt as much either. Or just get a nice towel and think about that as well with the clothes you're putting on. Another thing too is always wear shoes or socks in your house. Do not walk around barefoot. There's something about these things that just kind of are, and the dust in the carpet, they're everywhere, and so covering your feet is huge. I feel like once I started to notice that, and I had bought a couple pairs of house shoes, and I interchange them, and I usually wear socks with them. And so that to me was really helpful as well, like just not walking around in those. And then some socks will collect this stuff, and some materials of clothing will collect it. I've had to go through all of my clothing and throw a lot of things away when I would feel a reaction, because I get like a static shock just from touching certain fabrics. You put that fabric on your feet, if it's full of this stuff, these socks and the little lint balls inside of them, it's like might as well just like give up. Like it's, I mean, I can't tell you my struggle with the sock game, having to try and find socks that were clean enough or that didn't feel like they had stuff stuck on them. An alternative for that is to get a lint roller. Use a lint roller on your clothes before you put them on. Although you have to notice that if you're having to do that, they're still going to pick things up in your environment. And so you're wearing something that's going to attract these things. Obviously things like that are satiny or kind of silky, or I found that like the velour is usually pretty good. I mean, everybody has a different preference, but things like fleece, things like cheap cotton, they don't work very well. They tend to pick things up wherever you go. So there's also like copper has been a really big benefit as well. So they have copper socks now. They have all kinds of different copper stuff that you can wear that seems to, if you want regular socks, the copper fit socks seem to do pretty well, as far as like not collecting any of these fibers that are unfortunately a lot of times coming out of you. So sometimes you will feel something in your foot or your sock or on your leg, and you look down and you're like, oh my God, where did this come from? It's poking you, it's just like a hair. But you have to remember that oftentimes these things are actually coming from us, that we're actually shedding them. So you can't really get away from something when it's coming from your body. So just keep that in mind as well. The best thing to do for any of this is also to just stay calm. I know that it's difficult. I know that that's like a really hard thing to do. I believe that this disease does something to your nervous system, and it actually causes you to be in a state of fight or flight, and it feeds on the cortisol. So, and if you can remember that, and I find it really beneficial to claim out loud, this is my body and you're not allowed here and you need to leave, or if this illness doesn't serve me and I want it to go, and ask it nicely to release it. I'm going to release it. Because if you say you're going to fight it, or you're having this like battle with it, I find that like oftentimes when we're battling something in our body, it's actually not going to benefit us the way that we want. It'll be sometimes detrimental to our well-being and also our body. So finding a way to just say, we don't need you, that doesn't serve our highest good, and we're now saying you can go, and we're releasing you, we're asking you to leave, and this is how you're exiting our body. And I find that feels better, is that having the command of that, this isn't serving me, and I would like it to go, so I'm releasing it now, instead of telling it to get the F out. Just ultimately, if you want to do that, feel free. I'm not, I wouldn't judge, because I've done that plenty of times as well. Yeah, so I'll do the bath the way I described it. I will do 3 oftentimes. So But every time I make sure you add, at the very least, add an Epsom salt and something like a borax or a peroxide or a little bit of bleach or something in the water that's going to kill the organisms or whatever they are when they exit your body, so they're not just floating with you in the water. Yeah, so I think that's about it. I also wanted to say that I know that it's really hard sometimes just to get up and do your day, let alone think about the undertaking of a bath or a shower, and with all of these things and all these